Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. Shipyard Brewing Company is not very happy with another brewing company, and they might be going to court. We'll have that story.
Plus, a new class happening at the Maine Criminal Justice Academy focused on addiction. We'll explain why.
Tom Brady's wife, Giselle, was on TV today, and she said something that has a lot of people concerned. We'll talk about it.
This is News Center Now.
Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to News Center Now. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. We're going to dive right into it tonight. A criminal investigation is underway into a reported embezzlement at the law offices of Dan Lilly. Lilly was a prominent defense attorney who passed away at the age of 79 back in March.
Now, News Center has learned that after his death, family members uncovered some irregularities in the firm's finances. Dan Lilly went from former state prosecutor to colorful defense attorney, took on some of the state's biggest cases. He defended Tony DeMillo of DeMillo's Restaurant, getting him an acquittal in a big federal tax evasion case. He helped convince a jury to find restaurant owner Jackie Bevins not guilty after she shot her husband 15 times, and he represented a key defendant in the Kennebunk Zumba prostitution case. Now, Chris Rose has been digging into this story for us, and what do we know about this investigation so far?
Well, we know that Portland police are confirming that they, along with the Attorney General's office, are investigating a reported embezzlement at the Dan Lilly law office. They are not saying who the suspect is at this point. They're also saying they're not sure how much money is missing. They say the investigation right now is ongoing.
But it sounds like, Chris, you've uncovered more information that was in a civil lawsuit that's been filed.
Yeah, this civil lawsuit, which was filed in Superior Court, shed some light on what those investigators are looking into. The lawsuit accuses a former employee of the Lilly law offices of writing checks to themselves and forging Dan Lilly's name. Now, this, according to the lawsuit, happened over a 5-year period. That former employee is also accused of diverting some of the client funds coming into the office to themselves and all. The suit accuses that former employee of stealing more than $850,000, and while that is not the largest embezzlement ever in Maine, it is right up there as one of the biggest embezzlement cases if the allegations in this civil suit are true, and we'll have much more full report coming up on News Center at 6.
All right, Chris, we'll see you then. Thanks. Keith?
All right. Pretty nice day today. We're starting to round out. Going to get even warmer as we head into tomorrow. Temperatures in the current, they're in the upper 80s, 90 in Freiburg. We got there. Notice, though, along the coastline, we did kick in with the south-southwest wind, so varying degrees of a cool onshore flow. Rockland and Bar Harbor, the usual suspects, sitting there in the 60s. Dew points are low, so even though it is warm across the interior, I haven't heard too many complaints. The dew points sitting in the upper 40s and low 50s. It's kind of a psychology thing, right? Because during the fall, you'd say, well, that's a crisp air mass, and now it feels warm to a lot of people with those temperatures getting into the upper 80s. Few showers across Aroostook County and some clouds up there as well. These showers, though, dwindling quickly. Maybe even a rumble of thunder in that. It's a little bit convective in nature. So tonight is clear. Tomorrow is clear as well, but watch these temperatures drive upward. Tomorrow morning, we start around 70 degrees, and by 10 a.m., we're in the 80s in a lot of spots. Now, this might be a little bit aggressive, but temperatures should be in a lot of spots getting into the low 90s. Guys, so warm that the National Weather Service has issued an air quality warning, which means that for some people it will be hard to actually breathe tomorrow afternoon.
All right, something to look out for. Thanks, Keith. So a bill was rejected this week that would have required healthcare providers to report suspected drug use by pregnant women.
Yeah, Governor LePage wrote the bill, which would also require those women to go into recovery programs, taking away their parental rights. Under current law, doctors are required to report when a newborn is affected by illegal drugs or alcohol abuse. Healthcare experts warned that this proposal could scare some pregnant women away from treatment. The bill was rejected by the Health and Human Services Committee.
You know, we just have to do it better and trying to figure out how to be better at the craft that we're asked to do, you know, and sometimes it is a matter of recognizing that we can't fix it and we can't arrest our way out of these things. We can't just be the enforcer of law. Sometimes you do have to kind of step back and go, wow, this isn't really working.
That's Rick Desjardins, former police officer and now assistant director of the Maine Criminal Justice Academy, which started a brand new class this week called Recognizing Addiction.
The idea of this class is to teach young officers the signs of drug abuse and learn where to find resources that can help a person much more than just a trip to jail. In the midst of an epidemic,
The heroin, the morphine, the over-the-counter narcotic analgesics are killing us, literally.
first responders are taking a different look at addiction.
We're losing a person a day on average, sometimes more, to the opioid addictions. This is really important stuff when it comes to policing a community.
At the Maine Criminal Justice Academy, these young cadets are the first to take a new class called Recognizing Addiction. For 2 hours, they're learning about what addiction actually does to a person mentally and physically.
Sometimes for people it's no longer a choice to not use substances, and it's important to help people understand just kind of the biology a little bit of addiction.
And learning about resources available, not just a trip to jail.
Because there's so many different aspects of that help. It's not just treatment, it's sometimes finding housing, sometimes it's just finding food and connecting them to the people who can be the one sole source of support.
As the first and sometimes only contact.
It could be that one time that that person decides that I need to get help and this is it for me.
These new officers have a lot to learn. Most of that will come from experience.
We administer the Narcan.
But this class will at least point them in the right direction before they hit the streets. Now, this class of cadets actually graduates on Friday, and many of them start their first job on Monday. Also on Monday, we are working on something pretty interesting. We're spending the entire half hour of News Center now focused on first responders. We're calling it On the Line, and it's dedicated to the men and women on the front lines and behind the scenes. So be sure to check out First Responder Day, Monday at 5 o'clock here on News Center Now.
A man is in the hospital recovering after his wife shot him. Here's some more news now. Kennebec County Police say that shooting happened in the couple's home in Reedfield this afternoon. The victim was taken to the hospital. No word yet on his injuries. Police say they've been called to that home in the past for domestic disturbances. Governor LePage says he will take steps to prevent the sale of tiny alcohol bottles if a bottle deposit bill passes. A Democratic representative's bill would create a 5-cent deposit on the tiny bottles beginning in 2019 to prevent littering. The governor says if the bill passes, he will veto it and instruct the state's Alcohol and Lottery Bureau to end all nip bottle sales. Proposal was not music to the ears of some Portland City leaders. Waterfront Concert proposed a 10-year contract to keep putting on shows at the Main State Pier, and that proposal was rejected. City officials say that they do want to keep working with the Waterfront Concerts, but on shorter terms. Our Portland Press Herald partners report that the city wants to explore more permanent development options for the 7-acre site. There are currently 12 concerts scheduled for this summer on the pier.
The sound of summer in Maine. Building season begins.
But there's a problem that could end up costing you more to own a home. We will explain as we get a sneak peek at a big report before it gets released tomorrow. Plus, potential bombshell.
Did Tom Brady have a concussion last season and then hide it? That is the question circulating after Gisele's interview today. The potential fallout coming up on Now.
When it comes to real estate in Maine, prices are high and inventory is low in a lot of spots. On the surface, it seems like it is a very good industry right now. It's in good shape. But what will a semi-annual report, a health report on the real estate industry reveal? Well, Paul Peck is president of the Maine Real Estate and Development Association. Paul, thank you so much for coming in. Tomorrow, you're releasing this big report on the health of the real estate industry in Maine. We have talked a lot on this program how the real estate industry is very hot right now. Are there any areas of concern in this report?
The real estate market is very strong. The index will show that we have sustained growth for 4 years now, and it's been good. We're at the highest level since 2006. The areas of concern that we see right now are really in the matching a buyer and a seller and affordability. We have a worker gap. and the worker gap needs to be addressed. So our pricing has been going up because we don't have enough workers to build our buildings.
You're talking about specifically construction workers, tradespeople.
Yes.
This is causing prices to go up. What is the solution to this? Have you guys talked about it?
We have talked about it at Merida. We've been meeting with the community college system. They're doing a great job. We have partners. We were just up at Learning Works the other day. They're teaching at-risk students construction skills. It's a pretty cool program. So there's multiple things that need to be done. There's actually a few bills in Augusta that we're tracking that will help with workforce development.
We've talked a lot about the urban areas really seem to be hot right now. What is going on in the rural parts of the state?
The rural parts of the state are not as strong as the urban areas. The urban areas, not just Portland, but Bangor, Saco, Biddeford, Brunswick, Bar Harbor, they're doing pretty well, and the towns around them are doing well. The walkable neighborhoods where there's maybe a restaurant or a bar, something unique to go to, engagement. The rural areas are doing not quite as well, but they're doing okay. The tourism industry is strong now, and our rural areas support tourism, so that's pretty good.
Especially this time of year, it's very good. Now, this trend of the multiple offers and going $20,000, $30,000 above asking price likely can't sustain itself forever. So what comes next based on your research and your reporting? Is it a big crash or is it a leveling off of the industry?
Yeah, I don't see a crash right now unless there's something external that we're not seeing. Interest rates are low and stable. Mortgage originations are strong, but they're not giving mortgages just to anybody these days. The crash in 2006, 2007 was really predominantly because of poor mortgage origination. We don't have that right now. So that's a good thing. Interest rates are stable, demand is strong. We see a strong market going into the future.
All right, Paul, we'll look for that report tomorrow. Thanks so much for giving us a preview.
Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Adrian. Classic Maine Brewery is fighting trademark infringement. The company says an out-of-state brewery is copying its beer brand.
Yeah, and I guess if Keith wants to keep talking about sun and heat, we're okay with that.
All right, would it really be a Patriots offseason if there weren't some sort of controversy? Here's the deal. We're going to try this again. Head on over to pulse.newscentermaine.com and weigh in on our poll, or open up your app and click on the Pulse button to vote.
A source very close to Tom Brady claims that the five-time Super Bowl champion suffered a concussion last year, which would be news to the rest of Patriot Nation. That source is his wife. Now, we all know how tight-lipped the Patriots are about anything and everything, especially when it comes to injuries, but I guess that doesn't go to their spouses. Brady's wife, Gisele Bündchen, suggested, in fact, actually said, he has suffered from concussions in his career, including last season. Bündchen was answering a question about her husband's career during an interview on CBS This Morning when she said, quote, he had a concussion last year, but not just one concussion, she claimed. He's had multiple concussions over time. Bündchen did not elaborate or say whether or not a doctor has ever diagnosed those concussions. According to injury reports issued by the Patriots, Tom Brady has no history of concussions or head injuries. Now, the NFL Players Association weighed in today. The NFL weighed in today. Here's a statement that came from the league just a short time ago. They say there are no records that indicate Mr. Brady suffered a head injury or concussion or exhibited or complained of concussion symptoms. We've been in contact with the NFLPA and will work together to gather more information from the club's medical staff and Mr. Brady. And to the absolute surprise of nobody, there was no comment from the Patriots or from Tom Brady.
Shocking.
Yeah. So, anyway, how about those Celtics? Last night, Boston won the draft lottery. They will have the top pick in June's draft. It's the first time Celtics have had the number one pick since Chuck Scher, you remember him, back in 1950.
Oh, yeah.
And tonight, the C's will host Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Cleveland. Many Mainers will be headed down to the Garden to check out the games, and the Amtrak Downeaster has implemented later departure times for the Celtics home games. Last train leaving North Station will be at 11:25 instead of the usual 10:30, so you can stay for the whole game and
That's
come on
taking
home.
the
Fall asleep on
Downeaster,
the
right?
train.
Is you don't have to worry about how you get back.
Exactly.
Right.
It's interesting the position they're in because if they're competitive in this series, then they're probably going to want to trade that pick for someone who can play right now, right? Isn't that what you would think?
Check it out. Guys got some analysis.
Look at him
Not
dropping
just-
some sports
Not
knowledge.
just weather and home improvement. Hey, beautiful day today. We're going to get hot tomorrow. I'm putting the, hold on, I have something up that I don't want to have. How about now? I'm putting the air conditioning in my house. All right.
There we go.
90 in Freiburg. Got a call from Betty Musis. She's our longest running weather reporter, weather buddy, and she said it was getting a little hot for her, and certainly the temperatures have climbed late in the day. These are late day highs in a lot of spots. Visible satellite clean for 90% of the state. There were some showers over northern Maine, specifically Aroostook County, and just a few of those remain, but they're really spotty now, and maybe a rumble of thunder moving through there, but most of us will be dry here through the rest of tonight, setting us up for tomorrow when those temperatures really rise. So there's the last of the showers moving out. Clear tonight. Comfortable night tonight. You know, maybe a fan, but shouldn't be a problem if you have the windows open. Through tomorrow, it's all about the sunshine. It is a mostly sunny to partly cloudy day, and then maybe late in the afternoon, early evening, an isolated thunderstorm. That's actually relatively new to the forecast, and the reason for that is computer models keep amping up how warm it's going to be, and as such, it destabilizes the atmosphere. So in the atmosphere, it's 83 versus 91. It's going to do different things with lift and clouds. So an isolated afternoon or late afternoon thunderstorm, early evening can't be ruled out. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And then Friday, a front comes through, a few showers there, and we cool down in time for the weekend. Here's what I think for tomorrow's high temperatures: 87 in Portland, 91 in Sanford, 89 in Augusta. The only spot that won't be warm is predictably the northern mid-coast into down east in the upper 70s there. National Weather Service has issued an air quality warning. Typically what this means is trying to avoid exercise at peak times, so 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Also, some people are at higher risk, so if you have asthma or if you're elderly, you're compromised in any way with your breathing, might have some problems late in the afternoon. That's kind of what that whole thing means. Temperature-wise, record-wise, we're going to smash tomorrow's record in Portland. 82, that's a week record. Ripe for the taking. I'm thinking 87. It's going to be closer in Bangor. The record is 87, but I do think we should edge it out around 89 or 90 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. The dew points are going to be reasonable, not super humid, so you shouldn't have too many problems as far as that goes. We do cool down for the weekend. I like the way the weekend looks. Nice and sunny. Temperatures there in the mid-60s. We go back to some showers on Monday. But overall, not quite as stellar as this week, but next week is looking okay, perhaps falling apart around Memorial Day. But guys, that is beyond my magic ball at this point, just focusing on the positive.
Fair enough. I like that. By the way, awesome day to be sitting on a deck, enjoying a nice cold one. But a brewery in Portland has more on its mind than just serving up suds.
Yeah, Shipyard Brewing Company, might have heard of them. They're suing a Missouri-based brewer for trademark infringement. So, Jess, you talked to company officials today about why they're going forward with this.
Yes, that's right. It's this beer that's at the center of the lawsuit. Now, it may not be an exact replica in name or design, but Shipyard believes it's causing a lot of confusion among customers.
In a world where buying something or going somewhere often involves a Google search, Shipyard keeps an eye out for products that come too close to its trademarked brands.
We came across this mark that is, we feel, confusingly similar to ours.
The beer in question, Ship Head beer, produced by Missouri-based Logboat Brewing Company. Shipyard says the Ship Head sounds similar to its trademarked Pumpkinhead, Melonhead, and Applehead products, and can lead consumers to think Ship Head is a Shipyard product. They say the Missouri brewery also has a tasting room called the Shipyard, and that the look of the Ship Head can is too close for comfort.
You have to look at the big picture, and you have to look at how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds. It's all about consumer confusion, and we think there potentially could be and has been some confusion.
Mazur says these things often happen in the brewing world and are usually settled out of court. He said Shipyard tried for 2 years to work with Logboat on a compromise and felt it was time to take the next step.
As more and more breweries come out there, brand names are getting harder and harder to find, so the ones that you do have, you just have to protect.
So we did reach out to Logboat Brewing Company, and our calls and messages were not immediately returned. Shipyard says even though a suit has been filed, the company does hope to settle out of court.
All right, thanks, Jess.
All right, let's take a look at what's coming up at 5:30 with Cindy Williams.
Hi, guys. We got a lot coming up, including a live report from Washington on former FBI Director Comey's memo and a possible case of obstruction of justice against the president. Also ahead, rising from the ashes, Kittery Point landmark is destroyed by flames, but now there's new life emerging from that spot, which used to be the center of town. And a popular Bangor restaurant is reopening under new ownership, and that's not all that's new. Those stories and more ahead at 5:30. And we'll be back right after this.
I get that people get upset by it, but that's for the holder of the plate to figure out, not for me to mandate to protect people from being offended.
Profanity on vanity license plates. You've probably seen some driving around or posted on Facebook. Thanks to some recent cases, requests for plates containing swear words are no longer being denied by the Secretary of State's office.
Jess Gagne takes a look at what changed and what is still not allowed tomorrow on News Center Now.
All right, before we get to brain drops, we're going to get to Concussion Gate, and this is the pulse question we've been asking you guys to weigh in on all day, and we'll be doing all the way through till 6:30. So if Tom Brady actually did have a concussion, what would happen next? And I'm assuming that means will he be punished or will he not be punished?
Right.
Or so right now we're looking live at 75% of you say nothing should happen to him. 8% say either the Patriots or Brady would be fined, and 17% say it's just the Madden curse.
They're not going to fine him. I can't see how they could, after last year and the whole thing.
If Tom Brady, and this is a big if he did actually have concussions and went to a doctor on his own and not to team doctors and never told anybody, he's absolutely put himself at risk to be fined or suspended because he's with.
If there's a report that
if somehow they can find a doctor's report,
Yes.
he met with a doctor on his own because he's not allowed to do that. So if that happened, it's a problem. If it didn't happen, Giselle kind of misspoke. And
I wonder how that works with medical history and the fact that it's private, and it's very interesting. But
by the way,
as
before we move on too far, this is a vote that will continue on through 5:30 and 6 o'clock, so there's still time to vote if you go to our app and click on Pulse or go to pulse.newscentermaine.com.
I don't see how the Madden curse is related, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. Today's Brain Drops is about dinosaurs, which as a kid was like a huge favorite topic for me. They did a more recent study on figuring out what power the T-Rex bite had, and they figured out it was 8,000 pounds that it was putting down. So to put that in perspective, that's a cool graphic.
That was pretty cool and scary.
To put in perspective, that's equivalent of 3 small cars coming down on whatever the prey may be.
Wow.
So now, it's interesting use of technology and good old-fashioned skills to come up with this estimate. They came up with a model, but they had to get the closest living relative, which was a crocodile. And they wrangled a 17-foot crocodile and got it to bite down on what's essentially a scale to tell it how much bite force does this crocodile have. Then take from that, extrapolate it for the size of the T-Rex, and that gave them an idea of how strong this was. Human bite force, 200 pounds, is about what it can
I'm
put down.
actually even surprised by that.
The 200?
Yeah.
Well, anybody who grinds their teeth are not surprised by that because you can grind through your teeth, you can grind through bite guards, all kinds of stuff like that. But I thought that was really interesting. Also, they're the only animal they could figure out that could bite through the bone to eat the marrow of whatever they had killed.
Oh, well. Hope you guys are enjoying your dinner.
Yeah. Hey.
On that note,
News
200
Center
pounds?
at 5:30 starts right now.